Hey guys, how's it going? Destriee here. This is really more for my own personal viewing. I just updated to Godot 4.4. This is my, I guess you can say, a devlog for the game I'm currently working on called Serenade of the Damned. This isn't going to be a long video, and as again, this is more for my personal vlog stuff. I just probably should have done this before recording the video, but okay, yep, that was all because I know this is because Jolt is just added to the new version by default. But anyways, that's not what this is. You can see I don't have a lot now. I just kind of have my little gray box test area. I have my player character, which I just started doing some animations for. He is taken from a base model along with this mask thing he's wearing, but I've edited both to kind of fit the style I'm going for. Obviously, this is just a prototype. The final character is not going to really look too much like this. So I want to add different clothing options and whatnot. But we're not really worried about this. This I will figure out in time. The main reason I'm doing this, outside of just being for my own, records, is so I can explain and have it in voice kind of what this game is going to be about. So, like I said, the name is Serenade of the Damned. I might change it later on, but I kind of like how that sounds. And this is really going to be inspired by things like Ocarina of Time is going to be the main inspiration, I guess I'll call it, for this. Majora's Mask, stuff like that. And I say that because, well, this is going to be more or less the character. Yeah, I got a couple of things here. I already got the animations. Well, one of the animations working. I still got to find some other ones. I'm using a lot of other people's assets for this just because I'm shit at making my own stuff, and I have a hard time understanding a lot of the tutorials that I've been watching on like making animations, doing stuff like that. I'm pretty good at if somebody already made the base model for me and kind of I can sculpt it to what I want. But what I actually did work on was this thing here. You can see it's a flute, but it also doubles as the main melee weapon for the game. It's kind of hard to see it from here because of how small I had to make it. So honestly, if I open it up in this scene, there we go. So this is the flute. I did make this flute. It is completely custom. I didn't take the model from anywhere. So all of this was me. And as you can see here, you can definitely tell it's supposed to be some type of woodwind device, but it has a little bludgeoning end at the bottom, and there's a hole in there. But yeah, no, my plan for this is that it kind of works two ways. It is a musical instrument, and that'll function in the same way as it does in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, where at certain areas, if you play certain songs, certain notes, certain things will happen. But you can also just play it whenever. But it's also made this way because it's going to double as your melee weapon. So when you're not using it to play music, you're using it to play bongos with people's heads. Yeah, there's a little slit up there in the front where the blowhole would be. But yeah, just looking at it like this, I'm pretty proud of how this came out in particular. I know it's not very technically impressive, but I have a hard time with stuff like this. So the fact that I got it looking like this for me was awesome. But yeah, there's that, and I showed you guys a bit of the player. I got some animation stuff going on. Got the animation tree going, so he goes from just standing regular to not that. He goes from, give me a second here. That's I'll show you better when I like pull up the little test scene. But just want to make sure this is all working. There we go. So you see he smoothly goes from 0 to 1. If you didn't know, you can go past that if you just stick here and yeah, and then he goes all fucky. And just set him back to 0. And just save that, whatever. And yeah, I'll show you guys real quick what this looks like. Well, here's also the script I'm using so far. This is I only have one script, and it's for the player. Go back to the environment and showing off the scene really quick as soon as the game loads. See, I got movement working, and he also will move in the direction of the camera. That was quite a lot of code I had to add. And then also I set it to where it won't clip through meshes or collisions. I shouldn't say mesh. It won't clip through the collisions. It'll just smooth closer and farther away from the character, just so it's not clipping through stuff. And but it still works for if you're trying to look through like a window and stuff like that. I still have more animations to do. Like I already have a jump function and I have a sprint function that I can adjust in the inspector, I believe. But I don't have animations for those yet, so that's going to be what I'm working on next. And this right here is the flute. It is set up currently as a rigid body, so it does have collision to it. If you saw it in the scene, it's floating, but because this is in the way, you didn't see it drop to the ground. If I mess around with this, I can kind of kick it around, but I'll have to do more coding. And eventually, that's just going to be something that's attached to the player. And I'm going to set up some stuff to where when you want to use it, you either have the music portion of it where you're playing notes, or it'll just be a melee weapon when you're just hitting people with it. But I want to have the music stuff kind of like how it is in Ocarina of Time, where the camera switches to show the front view, and then have a little thing at the bottom that plays notes and whatever. But yeah, as for what I've done so far, technically, this is really all I got, and I know it's not a lot, but I've been messing around with other game engines currently for school because I'm currently in school for game design, and I was messing around with Unity with a couple of classmates making a game for a class, but that was a first-person one, and I prefer third-person games. And initially, I was using Unity because Unreal seems to just have issues, and I'm also not too worried about having super amazing graphics. I'd rather just have a fun game and then work on graphics from there. You can also see his resting, idle animation. His shoulders are a little weird, but I will fix that later. I like his walking animation, though. It doesn't look too bad. He's a little stretched out, but I can fix that. But no, then I saw Godot. I saw people saying that it's a lot more beginner friendly, and I would still consider myself a beginner, even though I have messed around with the game engines for quite a while. And like I said, Unity is actually what I'm using for my classes. But I've had a lot more luck in Godot just getting stuff to work. Like I was able to import both of the models. I was able to do all the collision and stuff. I was able to get the character moving around with not nearly as much trouble as I have for something like Unreal or Unity to a lesser extent. And I do know that there is a lot more manual stuff I will have to do in this engine, and it's not quite as robust as those other ones. But so far, I'm liking it, so I'm gonna continue with this. And after I get some more stuff together, I might work on some material shaders and get some textures going, get an actual level. I have an idea for what I want the game to look like, but I'm not actually worried about making the game world yet. And hell, if maybe I get more knowledge and stuff, and I can meet up with more people that are interested in making a game, and I can get some help. We can work on something and see what we can do. But anyways, guys, that's really all I got for this devlog. I guess I'll call this devlog 0. And then devlog 1 will be when I actually have like the core gameplay done, I would say, or at least the core look of the game done. And yeah, that's really all I got to say, guys. Thank you for watching, and see ya.